for joining us this morning. It's really lovely to be back.
It certainly is. Lovely to see some of the same people who've joined us for our Christmas webinar and lots of new people joining us too.
We're delighted to once again be filming live from our story studios here in London Bridge. I'm Lauren Mercer, Head of Events at Story, overseeing all things operational in the virtual, hybrid and live event worlds. And joining me from a metre away is my partner in crime in the world of virtual and live events, Carly. And you may have also noticed we have a new face today. I am really delighted to welcome Claire Phillips. Claire's going to be joining us on some top tips later, as well as heading up the panel discussion with two very special guests later in the webinar.
Hello. Thanks, Lauren. Hello, I'm Carly Beckner, Account Director here at Story Events, and I lead the wonderful Story Bespoke sales team, overseeing the exciting array of clients we work with and working closely with Lauren to execute some truly spectacular events. Some of you will know about the backgrounds of Story Bespoke and Venue Search London, but perhaps not that they are sister companies. Story started almost 7 years ago, creating and producing outstanding events, which we are very proud to still be doing today. As the name states, we love to tell our clients stories to the highest standard.
And hello, I'm Claire Phillips, Senior Account Manager at Venue Search London.
Welcome.
At VSL, we know everything there is to know about booking a venue, and we're very proud to be London's leading free online venue finding service. Working with over 1,000 venues in and around London, our team researches and visits venues non-stop, allowing them to personally recommend the perfect venue for any event.
Now, later in the webinar, we will be joined by one of our brilliant suppliers who focuses on mental health and wealth. This is something that we personally find really, really important. And it's something that we're seeing so many people now incorporating into their events for 2021. And don't forget, around 11:40ish, we are going to be joined by the superb cocktail service, ready to make some incredibly delicious salty caramel espresso martinis. So make sure you have your ingredients to hand, and it's nearly lunchtime at that point, so it'll all be fine. We're considering it brunch.
That's right. So for our last webinar, we worked with a fantastic team at PSA to show you the superb platform Remo. And today we're very excited to be using Venue IQ, a really engaging and user-friendly platform that is fantastic for conferences, summits, awards, one-to-one meetings, and so much more. We'll be hearing from Oliver Rowe, co-founder of Venue IQ, a little later on.
So back in October, we took you to a journey through the festive packages and artisan gifting that we had created at Story, and we're joined by some wonderful event suppliers. We're so delighted to say it's been an incredible few months in the virtual world for us, working to bring so many different events to life for our clients alongside those suppliers and many more.
It's been busy.
It has. In the last 14 days, we have packaged and sent over 2,000 artisan gift boxes and still have another full week of virtual festive end-of-year parties to run.
Oh yeah, you've packed a lot of those, haven't you?
I have them.
Lots of hand cream.
Talking of those boxes, if you're looking to support your virtual, hybrid or live events with something a little bit different in 2021, keep an eye out in the new year as we look to launch our brand new conference gift packages.
Yes, indeed. More packing for you.
Yes.
This morning, however, we are going to be taking a look at what happens next. As we know, 2021 has some really exciting possibilities, especially with the incredible news last week of the release of the Pfizer vaccine in the UK, and of course with the first of these rolling out on Tuesday morning. We'll be finishing today with a Q&A session, so please do send in your questions as we go, and we'll answer as many as we can at the end. Now, looking ahead, there are certainly some great signs that we can see that live events will start emerging in the UK, as they have in other countries soon. As it currently stands, and based on the All Secure standards, live events may now operate over a single day. Now in Tier 1, which is the medium areas, business meetings and events are permitted at a cap of 50% of the venue's capacity, or 4,000 people outdoors, or 1,000 people indoors, whichever is the lowest. So the capacity, refers to the total number of people per event, and it does not include venue staff. Similar rules apply in Tier 2, which is the high areas. The key difference here, though, is that it's a reduction to 2,000 people permitted in the outdoor settings.
Events are not permitted, however, in Tier 3, the very high areas. However, while smaller business meetings are advised against, they may take place with up to a total of 30 people if reasonably necessary, such as for purposes of work that cannot be done at home. In such cases, social distancing must be maintained and the venue must be able to demonstrate it has followed the Meeting Industries Association's COVID-19 guidance.
It's a lot of words. Over the last 9 months worldwide, we've spoken so much about this new normal. In our various industries, we've been adapting and upskilling, and I think particularly within our industry, we've all learned just how much value, time, care, and I have to say love goes into the live events that we make.
Yeah.
And it's definitely safe to say that they have really, really been missed.
Yes.
Definitely. So today we're going to be exploring virtual, hybrid and live events. And while we especially are so excited to restart live events, we need to talk about how the focus can't be on returning back. We're not going backwards. It's how to launch the new age of live events. Yep. One lesson that we've all learned in this pandemic is a shift in our personal needs and wants. It's really, really clear to see this, even in our day-to-day lives, like at the supermarket. Yeah. You know, you can see how people's perceptions and their movements have changed. I think we know that delegates, sponsors, speakers, even organisers like ourselves, we don't want to go back to the exact way that things were before. So it's about understanding how to restart on the right foot. It's been said true live events won't be back on the 2019 trajectory, it's a hard word, until approximately 2023-24. So ensure you're mapping out your event to meet people's needs.
But of course, all of this is going to take work, time, creativity, and compromise. Safety is now more important than ever, and ensuring that all parties follow these new guidelines is key.
It's so important you're following the correct guidelines for your specific event. So keep an eye out on the latest government updates and don't be shy to ask questions to ensure you get the right information.
Yeah, definitely. Here at Story, both myself and our wonderful operations director, Cassie, spent some time over the summer upskilling, and we are now both safer event managers, which allows us to ensure that events and venues are COVID safe, and it allows our clients to feel, you know, a bit more peace of mind and confidence, which is key, and it's key to creating these new live events, I think.
I think there's a lot to digest,
a huge
and a lot to take from 2020. Yeah. So here are our top tips when it comes to virtual, hybrid, and live events. So for virtual events, our first top tip is time.
Yes. Remember, when organising an event, take into consideration both lead and event times. If you're organising or running a full day event, plan enough breaks so guests can step away from the screen and their seats.
Platform.
Pick the right platform for you, your audience, and really importantly, your event needs. So do you want to swap guest information? Do you want to book private one-to-one meetings? Are you interested in controlling who can view specific content? Do you need sponsor opportunities? And, you know, is it compatible with different devices? All of this has to be considered.
And cost.
Yes. A well-organised, considered and high-quality virtual event, unfortunately, is not free to create, even when virtual. So please take this into consideration when budgeting for your events.
I think that one is hugely key.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yeah,
massively.
There's a lot more that goes into it, I think, than
I think
people
realise.
So for hybrid events, the first top tip is audience participation.
Yes, think about how the live event, so the live and the virtual audiences here, will view the content, how they'll access information, how they speak to each other, even how they receive gifts. Your favourite.
Yeah, absolutely. Love a gift.
A hybrid event allows you to give an opportunity for people to be either face-to-face or to stay at home if for whatever reason they can't attend the live event. Of course, it also allows guests from around the world to attend without the cost of flying. So the benefits here are not just health and safety related.
Yeah, absolutely. And next is technology.
So this is key for both live and virtual. Like with a full virtual experience, the platform is so important, but keep in mind the live audience too. Do you want these to be merged and allow your two audiences to participate in the same or different ways?
Massively, massively important.
Yes.
And of course, cost.
Yeah, hybrid is going to mean that you need to look at your budgets in a different way. So you need to remember that you're creating an event of two parts here. It's live and it's virtual.
Yeah.
So ensure you remember this when you look at your costs and you think about them.
And for live events, the first one, don't revert to what you always did.
No.
Things have changed. Ensure you look at the pros and cons of your event, what lessons you have learned from 2020's adaptations, and create something new and exciting.
Definitely.
And one of the things we've mentioned a few times already is going to be certainly very key, and that's safety.
100%. I mean, this is top of everyone's list now, isn't it? It's going to be. Make sure that you safeguard and safe-proof your event. And as Carly said, it is going to be so key. And while it's still necessary, ensure you're including biosecurity within your budgets.
I don't know if there'll ever be a buffet station without hand sanitizers.
No,
again.
No,
I don't think
or,
so.
or having, as we were talking about technology, having Zoom.
Yeah, absolutely. So think about your audience needs.
We're really going to see a shift in how guests attend events in the future. So think about including elements that you may not have before. Be flexible, be creative, adapt the food you supply, adjust your sessions, and think about mental health and fitness sessions within your programs.
Definitely, 100%. I think all of those are really, really important. So thinking on those, we, between us, have seen a huge and very varied amount of virtual events. What have you both found that's either stood out or has been really, really surprising to you in the virtual world of events?
So for me, the first thing is that virtual events actually aren't a compromise to live events. I think that's been something that's been amazing to see, is that you can have a virtual event that is just as engaging and exciting as a live event.
Absolutely. I think at the beginning of the year when we were learning about it, I was quite worried that people wouldn't be engaged and that entertainment wouldn't be as funny or as entertaining. And actually, from the ones I've visited, the suppliers are on their game, and actually you come away feeling happy, feeling like you've attended something, like you've done something different, and like you've actually had an experience that's not just the usual Zoom or Teams meeting.
100%.
And getting deliveries to your door.
Do you know what I was going to say that? I mean, everyone loves, we spoke about this last time, didn't we? Everyone loves posts as we're doing our gifting. I mean, I just love the fact that you can wear your pajama bottoms.
Absolutely. No one knows.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's fantastic. And so with these new outlooks in mind, we are going to jump right into it. So as I mentioned before, first up, we are joined by Ash Day from Open Mind. So a fantastic company who we've been working with this year, adding mental wealth and health sessions into a variety of events. These sessions can be implemented within any virtual, hybrid or live event. So Ash, over to you.
Thank you so much for having me, everyone at Story. Hopefully you can see and hear me.
Can indeed.
Brilliant. So over the next 4 minutes or so, I just want to give you an overview of what we're seeing from our perspective as a workplace wellbeing provider across the UK. So in the next couple of minutes, I'll talk you through the general state of wellbeing in the UK at the moment, how we've also then adapted and listened to what our customers, workplaces and clients are saying around what their needs are and how we're trying to solve some of their challenges. So first things first, the current landscape in the UK. So I won't go into lots of stats and details around wellbeing, but I think the key thing is how we approach wellbeing has changed. I think the realization, especially with COVID, the importance of social connection on mental, physical and emotional health. Previously, the buzzwords used to be mental health and physical health, and wellbeing used to encapsulate those two. I think now COVID has made us rethink what wellbeing means to us both personally and for workplaces in terms of how they adapt. Similarly, how we run events. I think one thing to pay attention to is something Deloitte published right at the start of the year, and how we view wellbeing and engagement as part of events and workplace wellbeing programs. And that's the cost of absenteeism and presenteeism and turnover per employee per annum. So I think there's a real shift of looking at wellbeing rather than looking at it as a cost to a workplace, looking at it as an investment to a workplace. So that cost of £1,500 is quite a lot per person per annum if you scale it up to the number of people you're supporting. So where are we seeing the future? I think similar to how events run, there's a whole element of culture. Wellbeing is just one aspect of culture. So we're seeing more with hybrid delivery, how we can create senses of feeling of belonging and attachment, how we can create enablement and support, and importantly for us, the well-being and sense of purpose. So our considerations for virtual and hybrid working centre around 4 things for our clients. One is around how do we encourage social interaction? We see it as a key part for embedding sustained well-being in workplaces, but also to support the individuals. Secondly, how do we create opportunity? Well-being is so unique to each of us. So for some groups of people, yoga and meditation sessions might be really beneficial. For others, cocktail making, arts and crafts sessions, choirs. The idea is how do you create opportunity within a workplace and manage that in a succinct and efficient way. And then thirdly, budgets. Budget, and we've heard costs come up a few times already. So that we figured out ways to get creative in how to unlock budgets, whether it's discretionary spend or accessing budgets outside of existing P&Ls through cashback models to fund wellbeing programs and services. And finally, reporting. More and more is being asked for in terms of why we're investing in wellbeing programs, what's the impact. So that leads us on to what we're trying to solve in terms of open mind as we support HR directors, wellbeing leads, but also work with events companies to support the delivery of their events in terms of making them engaging in, from a wellbeing consideration perspective as well. When we asked 100 HR directors back in 2018 around the main challenges around delivering inclusive wellbeing programs, 3 things stood out. One was budget, no surprise there. Secondly was the amount of time and resources to administer a program. This whole session's focused around events, so I don't need to explain the amount of admin and the planning that goes behind organising. And thirdly, why are we investing in wellbeing? What's the impact? Is there some reporting? So just to share about how we work with both events companies and organisations, we built our platform Care. And basically Care is a curated, vetted marketplace of around 200 providers across the UK to support individuals and workplaces with their wellbeing programs. We've broken it into 4 main groups: strategy and assessment, awareness and education, group and community activities, and one-to-ones. You're not meant to be able to read what's on the slide at the moment, but it's just an overview that from awareness and education, everything from support around mental health to nutrition to mental health to suicide awareness, all the way through to group and community activities. How do you really encourage that social interaction? The yoga, the meditation, the arts and crafts, really popular during COVID were virtual choirs and sing-alongs and cookery sessions. So we also administer the end-to-end. So we want to make it as simple as possible for our clients. We manage the booking, the scheduling, the internal marketing, the booking portals, and we also support with measurement and reporting of the impact. Hopefully that gives enough insight to help various workplaces understand why this is a good investment and actually can be viewed as a cost saving rather than a cost to an organisation. Like everyone, this last year has been interesting in terms of how we adapt to on-site / adapt to virtual and hybrid delivery. We've been fortunate that we supported employees across 300 organisations across the UK in various capacities. There's a few on the screen in terms of where we support them with events, but also ongoing wellbeing programs and some bespoke ad hoc wellbeing programs and offerings. The point is we've tried to simplify and make it as easy as possible. What's coming up in 2021? The focus on employee experience, but also how do we encourage positive wellbeing habits? So rewards and gamification. And then one key aspect is that budget question. How do we solve the budget question? So since 2019, we've been testing a model around funding wellbeing programs and events through cashback on hospitality spending, on corporate spending in hospitality, sorry. And we've had some great traction with that. And this is where in 2021, we're bringing that out even further and making it available at a personal free reward to individuals using wellbeing services. There's a lot of information there, but essentially it's an overview of how we support events and workplaces deliver wellbeing programs and how we've been working with Story over the COVID period with supporting with some wellbeing sessions. Thank you very much for your time. Hopefully I kept to 5 minutes.
Thank you so much, Ash, and the team at Open Mind. Mental health is finally moving away from being a taboo subject to one being taken very seriously in the workplace, and now in events too. I'm very proud to say that we at Story and VSL leapt headfirst into lockdown 2.0 with a series of wellness projects supporting our team's physical and mental well-being during the second lockdown, a practice we will continue in 2021.
This year has certainly seen a wide shift in how venues have had to adapt to ensure security and success. And so this morning, I am joined by two fantastic venues who have made some huge changes in how they've run their businesses during 2020 to guarantee their ability to deliver events within the industry. Both venues have worked incredibly hard to ensure events can still safely run in 2020 and were key in hosting audiences to partake in the UK Kickstart event, which ETC venues proudly spearheaded in early September. Tobacco Dock have been running a huge array of hybrid events and have currently adapted their venue with ski chalets and even a socially distanced Christmas cinema to support the industry and guests this Christmas. To tell us more, I'm delighted to welcome Charlotte Smart, Head of Sales Team from Tobacco Dock, and Nick Hoare, COO from ETC Venues. Thank you both so much for joining me, and a huge welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Good morning, everyone.
Hello. So I'm really looking forward to hearing both of your insights, and I'd love to get your take on the next steps on the road to live events. Obviously, we recognise how important it is for our clients to feel safe in the knowledge that the venues they're booking are operating in a COVID-safe way. What measures do you have in place to allow you to operate safely or hybrid events, and further down the line, hopefully live? So Charlotte, let's come to you first.
Yeah, of course. So we're quite lucky in the fact that, as you mentioned, we've got our rooftop skylight, and we've also got a co-working space. So we've been operating in a kind of COVID secure way since July. So I feel quite confident in the processes and way we've been able to build that up. And luckily our local council agree. They popped by to inspect. I think all venues will have, you know, the basic hygiene factors in terms of enhanced cleaning and sanitation, one-way guest flows, behavioural signage, you know, contact-free food and beverage service points, that kind of thing. And then, yeah, well, I guess we've had a lot of time to kind of take things one step further. So down to the type of furniture that we're putting in the rooms to make sure that it's easy, kind of clean down, sanitising between sessions, as well as, you know, things like upgrading our kind of data connectivity, that kind of thing, to make sure that hybrid works really well. So for us, it's about, you know, talking to clients individually and consulting with them about their specific needs to then build on those basic foundations to make sure that they feel safe.
Absolutely. And Nick?
Yeah, I mean, Sean, I think you raised a whole raft of very, very good points there, and many of which we've covered as well. But I think one of the key things has actually been communicating to clients and how one communicates to clients. You know, excuse the pun, but the hygiene factors that are now in place. You know, we created what we called an 18-point plan pretty early on, and looked to communicate that by putting it on the website and creating a video. So again, it's about really trying to communicate to the clients that they should be confident around the processes that are in place to ensure that they are feeling comfortable in our venues. And therefore, one of the things we've been doing is very much focusing on the training of our staff to make sure that they have the required knowledge and skills to be either able to fog rooms, to be able to do temperature checking, and all the things that people would expect in this new world.
Yes, that's so important, isn't it? Just training and knowledge during this year has been so important for everyone. So it does feel that we're certainly seeing a positive turn with the return of sports fans at stadiums and larger indoor events allowed to happen. Since the release of the vaccine and the fact that we are now allowed to host live events, have you also seen an upturn in inquiries? And Nick, we'll start with you this time.
Yeah, well, I mean, the vaccine is great news, and I think the rollout of the vaccine is going to drive huge confidence. And actually, we saw a sort of a near doubling in terms of inquiries when the news of the vaccine came out, albeit from a low base. So I can't shirk that one, but the reality is that it feels as though there's a bit of a groundswell. Talking actually one of our venue managers yesterday, talking about next week and the number of show rounds that he's doing at 133 Houndsditch was really exciting. But I think what we need to see leadership from large corporates to really drive people to get back to meetings and coming to events. And I think that's going to require some of those larger household names taking the initiative to do that. Because the reality is we all want to get back to live events. That's what we long for. And I think as we see some of those larger corporates do that, that'll restore confidence. And I think then everybody will be looking to come back to events, which is frankly what all of us on this call are really all about.
Yes, absolutely. And Charlotte?
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I think that first week our inquiries, increased fourfold, which was amazing. We've got inquiries for up to 2,000 people for 2021. Having said that, there is still very much the option A and option B kind of format that's coming through, and that's important, that as venues we can be flexible, and say, great, this is the absolute ideal situation on the assumption that we carry on the path that we're going, and we're all very hopeful for, but also let's look at other options in terms of smaller numbers or different spaces or different times of year, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think we're definitely moving in the right direction. The individual confidence is definitely there, which we see firsthand through Skylight with the consumers. 3,000 people came through the building last weekend, all really happily get engaged. But as Nick says, we need that kind of corporate confidence to instill that in that environment to get those business meetings off the ground.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
One thing we did, we ran a poll in May of our clients as to whether they would place a premium on face-to-face meetings as a result of COVID, and about 77% of people said that they would. Now, maybe that's not surprising, but we then ran the same survey just earlier this month in December, and that's risen up to 88%. So again, we can feel that groundswell of people wanting to come back into those, whether it's hybrid or live events, for the serendipity, the excitement, the energy of coming to those events. So I can see if we can get that confidence back, certainly from everyone we're talking to, that's what they want. They want to get back in the room to have those fantastic experiences that, that the story creates in fantastic venues that you find and that Charlotte and I provide. So I think there's a real groundswell there. So hopefully we'll see that confidence grow and we'll see activities levels pick up, but it will take a bit of time.
Yes, absolutely. We're certainly finding that clients are requesting more from venues before confirming, not only in the security of contract flexibility, but feeling confident in the venue being able to work with them. How have you adapted and how will you continue to do so?
We've always had at Tobacco Dock a very consultative approach to our clients. I think being the scale of venue that we are and working with the budgets that we are, there's an awful lot of planning and working together in that lead up. So that's going to be more important than ever. And, it's, as we said earlier, taking those basic, standard COVID safety measures that are expected, and then speaking to clients in terms of detail about their specific event, and then putting into, specific user cases and, individual elements that are really going to lift, their specific event elements. You mentioned contracting as well. I think that's something that venues are going to be really, really open to, and we have been from the start. We took a very proactive approach back in March and actually called our clients rather than waiting them come to us and said, look, do you want to postpone? Let's make this as painless as possible for everyone involved. And that's going to continue. So again, it's specific to each client. What are their deal breakers? Do they have an international audience, and therefore it's flight bans that they're concerned about and travel restrictions? Is it ticket sales, and therefore certain capacities will make it completely not viable commercially? It's having those really honest conversations and then building in those factors into the contracts. And then finally for us, I think it's packages. We're often known as a dry hire venue. We've actually had sort of package options, as you guys well know, for a long time. And it's about, we've kind of further enhanced those with the hybrid model, hybrid studio, AV. And hopefully that will support our prediction of shorter lead times and lesser resource in both agencies and direct clients.
Yeah, so, perfect, lovely. And Nick, quickly?
Yeah, I think that's right. We invested actually in having the sales team working throughout the lockdown to work with clients to move events that couldn't take place. But as Charlotte says, it's all about trying to be as flexible as possible, and then thinking about packages to make sure we can enable our clients to come back and have those events. So it's all about flexibility, which we're trying to work with all of our clients on.
Absolutely. So, obviously we all know conference bookings have been hard this year, thrown us a few challenges. You're finding that clients are looking to host full live if they can, or are they still looking for a mixture, do you think?
Well, we're seeing a bit of a mixture. I think if we were to break down 2021 into two halves, not surprisingly, 2022 is looking very much more favourably at live events, perhaps supplemented with the hybrid capabilities that we've got. And H1 is probably smaller events and probably more hybrid related. But people are desperate to come back to live events, and it's great to see those inquiries picking up. And I think as confidence grows, people will come back. So, you know, we may as early as Q2 start to see many more live events happening, and that'll be great news.
Yes,
so Charlotte,
absolutely.
Yeah, I think the focus genuinely does seem to be on live first and foremost, but I would expect, you know, the majority of clients to utilise that opportunity to live stream and make their event hybrid to increase that audience engagement. You know, why not? If the facilities are there, you know, expand your reach.
Yes, definitely. I mean, at VSL, we've certainly seen a huge we've learned a huge amount this year and seen a big increase in inquiries. What has been your biggest learning throughout all of this, do you think? Charlotte, we'll start with you.
I think it's just the importance of maintaining the ability to adapt. You know, the way that we're set up has allowed us to do that. We were able to be quite quick off the mark with our hybrid studios, you know, changing options for our Christmas setup with the different tiers. And just having the confidence to do that, and you've got to put yourself, you know, a little bit out there in order to reap the rewards of that. And of course, you know, how amazing our industry is in terms of the collaboration between who previously were competitors or, you know, things like that. Everyone's just working together, and the teams and the clients and the other venues have all been, you know, really supportive.
Absolutely. And Nick?
Yeah, Sean, interesting. You mentioned that ability to adapt, and there's no time to adapt like a crisis. And I think those that will adapt quickest will fare best. But in terms of one of the things that is perhaps aside from that, one of the things that I've been really impressed with, both in the industry and actually very much so within ETC, is actually the culture of people's, you know, tenacity and courage in the face of adversity. So I've been hugely impressed by the way everyone's come together, you know, to work through these huge challenges that we as an industry have faced. So I think the key learning there is actually how important culture is, whether it's within an industry or whether it's within a business, to make sure we can work our way through these really tricky times.
Yes, yeah, it certainly brought us all together, as you say. So, and I know that obviously at Story and VSL, we're really excited about the future of events. What are you most looking forward to for events as a whole as we look to 2021?
I just can't wait to see the building buzzing again and full of personal engagement, people interacting face to face. You know, I'm actually looking forward to our operations team moaning that they're so busy with their full guard. So, yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, I think I'd echo that again. And I think, you know, particularly for our teams, you know, who love to provide great service, whether it's great food, providing great technology or customer service. You know, they're all desperate to come back to work to be able to give that fantastic experience to our customers. And as you said, Charlotte, seeing them networking, learning, engaging, actually having some fun and bringing that real energy to the venues will be a really welcome return. So certainly something we're looking forward to in 2021 as well.
Absolutely. Well, thank you both so much to Charlotte and Nick for both of your time today. It's been lovely to have you join us and hear your points, and they very much echo ours, I think. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you both so much. I agree. I think it's really interesting, actually.
And thank you, Claire. I always find it so interesting to see what venues are adapting to ensure that they stay as much ahead of the curve as possible. It's been a remarkable year and remarkable things happening.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. And actually, that was really, really, really interesting what Charlotte and Nick were both saying. I mean, there's so much there that we talk about and think about, but that was amazing. Really, really, yeah, thank you both so much. So we've been focusing on virtual and hybrid events, as we said, for quite a lot of the last 9 months. And so I think it's about time that we have a slight shift and we take a look at the journey to live events, which is really exciting. This week especially has felt incredibly exciting. The vaccine has given the country hope in taking the next steps to emerge into a really bright 2021. And I think we can clearly see that excitement within our industry and community. So with that in mind, both of you, and from everything that we're seeing moving ahead, what are the things that you're really excited to see for live events 2021?
Well, I am very excited to be holding an actual glass of champagne and actually clink it with another person.
Absolutely. To see people together laughing again and dancing and just having fun and feeling relaxed and confident together in one space.
Dancing. I can't wait to get back onto a dance floor.
Absolutely. And singing. Even singing is not allowed.
Really
I think also just feeling safe under one roof.
Yes,
Yeah, confidence.
absolutely.
Confidence is key. And so talking of live events, we are delighted to share that on the 5th and 6th of May 2021, the London Summer Event Show will be returning to Banking Hall. Following 12 months of virtual connections, we are incredibly proud to say this is set to be one of the first major live event shows to return to London. So keep an eye out for more information on the event, and we can't wait to see some of you there with us.
It's a really exciting step and announcement for us here at Story. And as Lauren said, we can't wait to have you join us at Banking Hall in May. We're looking forward to adapting our London Summer Event Show, a show which we've now run for 7 years and are always striving to elevate, taking the lessons we've learned this year and creating some moments like we've never seen before.
Yes, absolutely. And I mean, Lauren, having run so many worldwide events, what are the aspects that you've implemented at previous conferences that you will think will be vital to take forward to 2021 events?
There's a few, I think. I mean, I definitely think creativity, flexibility, Nick was saying it quite a lot there about flexibility, personalization, we talk about it a lot, safety. They are going to be completely at the forefront, I think, of 2021 events. One thing that I've been really proud of at my own events is ensuring that small, memorable moments and really, really personal touches are included. And 100% that is going to come through more and more because of the way that people have changed. And, we were talking about it earlier, and Nick was saying again, adapting and making sure that it works for people. I actually think there were quite a number of aspects that we needed to change and we needed to learn from how we were doing things. And 2020 has certainly been a catalyst for change. It's given us an opportunity to step back, look at what works and what doesn't work. So in many ways, it's been a great learning curve.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. I think creativity, flexibility, personalization, and of course, safety are certainly going to be the ones that we see, kind of at the forefront of planning events in 2021.
Yes.
Now, Claire, over at VSL, you've been continuing to work with your clients this year in a slightly different way, booking virtual venues for a while over live ones. How has this been for you and the team, but also your clients?
Well, we've certainly had to adapt this year. So whereas our focus, of course, is ordinarily on finding the perfect venue for an event, we've been sourcing venues for filming, as well as shifting our focus on how to help clients deliver their events in a different way. We quickly implemented a safe event assurance document to share with our clients and the venues that we work with to guarantee that we only propose venues to clients that are COVID secure and compliant with government guidelines. We've also taught ourselves the ins and outs of the valuable virtual platforms on offer and used our amazing relationships with venues and suppliers to ensure that our clients' needs can still be met, whether that's in the form of a virtual workshop, activity, seminar, or facilitating their corporate gifting requirements.
Yeah, you've been slightly busy, haven't you?
Yes, just a little bit.
Lots and lots of upskilling.
It's been
and
fun.
Actually, I believe that you also have some top venue booking tips for us.
I have indeed. So first and foremost, location. Obviously, flexible working hours and working from home now has become the norm. It's important to check you understand where the venues you choose are based. So near to the office is not going to be the driving force anymore, but instead you'll need to be looking at public transport links and on-site parking as a priority, as well as, of course, the venue facilities and safety.
Absolutely.
Sure.
So next, contract flexibility, and we've touched on this a bit already, but cancellation or postponement clauses are going to be crucial should government guidance not allow the event to take place in the way that you had hoped. Mm-hmm. You need to ensure that contracts reflect this, allowing for a smooth plan B. Venues are expecting this to be a requirement, so always ask, as it's important to make sure that both sides are happy before contracting, and make sure you've given yourselves some flexibility.
Yeah, that one is massively key.
Yes. Next, we need to get connected, and we've been doing a lot of this year, but you need to confirm that the venue offers strong Wi-Fi and audio-visual facilities sufficient to be able to include live streaming. Virtual and hybrid events naturally require a far more robust technological offering, and make sure that this either comes as standard or can keep with the pace should the event need to be taken online in part or as a whole.
I think people have been surprised at that, haven't they?
Yes, I think they have. There's a lot that goes into technical. Always inquire about technical support on site, and do be prepared to pay an additional charge for this to support the smooth running of your conference or event.
Definitely, yeah.
So it's also important, of course, to shop around. With so many event plans put on hold this year and plenty of events moved to next year already, it is likely to be a buyer's market in 2021. So don't dive in without asking us to do some extensive research to find the perfect venue and negotiate the best rates for you. And of course, how can all of this be made easier? Use a free venue finder. At Venue Search London, we really do provide a personalised service completely free, with our knowledge and expertise allowing us to negotiate on your behalf, saving you money and time doing the groundwork. We know the questions to ask, and we take pride in being able to provide you with the best solutions for your event, whether that now be virtual, hybrid, or live. As you've both mentioned, there's excitement on the horizon, and it feels like a shift in people's confidence, which is wonderful. We're really excited to continue working with our clients and meeting some new ones, of course, and we hope to find the perfect venue for them and their events. Do reach out and let us know how we can assist in that hunt, emailing us at hello@venuesearchlondon.com, or of course, give us a call for a chat.
Yes, thank you so much, Claire. As we mentioned, virtual and hybrid is certainly set to continue for a while longer. Working as excellent aids to live events, we have wanted to introduce you to the team behind this platform here today. Let's welcome Oliver Rowe, co-founder of Venue IQ, who will give you an overview of what wonderful things this platform can do. So, welcome, Oliver.
Hello.
Can we hear him?
Can we hear
Hi,
him?
everyone.
There he is.
Hello.
Hi, how are you doing? Great job.
Thank
you.
And welcome to our platform. As the guys have been saying, I think we all really believe in live events and getting back to live. I think that's something we can all agree on. We started out with our good old tracking technology, and then we built an app to go around that. So that's still there. That's everything we do. But at the start of the pandemic, we just got a bit of an inkling that maybe this wasn't just going to be March till April and we'll all be back to it. So we set out to build an entire platform with live absolutely in mind. So I don't think the words hybrid were really being talked about at the time, but that's what it is now. It's how do we mix the element of live and virtual audiences and guests and things. So really we've worked hard on that. So you're seeing a sort of modular version of our platform today in a webinar format, which is one of the things it can do. We have some of our customers that work with multiple webinars, so they might have a whole series over a month, maybe they do a few a week. We've had a lot of corporate users for internal events, for corporate briefings and things like that. And I think it's really important that people understand, I think we're coming to understand that from a event organizer point of view, although sponsorship opportunities are sometimes harder to sell to your clients and your partners, there is commercial opportunity still within a virtual platform. You can sponsor the welcome emails. There's obviously lots of space here. If you scroll down, you can see that all the partners that are helping with today's event are all listed, so you can see information about them. You can request info. So for a webinar, we've kept it quite simple, but we can add other features in, like one-to-one video chats. So you can obviously, in a virtual world, engage with people still. We took that a step further. Only a month or so ago, we launched our video breakout sessions, and our customers have come up with some really creative ways to do that, because we allow up to 50 people at once in it to talk, but obviously that can get a bit crazy. So a lot of them have been using it for like roundtables in the virtual world. And then obviously we're always thinking about, well, how will that translate into live? Because people might not be able to attend still for whatever reason. One thing that was important is that everything we do is one ecosystem. So as an organizer, our back end manages everything from the front end web platform you're seeing now to our app. So if you've got people in a live environment, they can still do a one-to-one video call with someone sat at home or in another country. I see on our chat we've got someone from Milan in Italy today, which is amazing. So you know, it really does show that, you know, I'm in the Midlands, you guys are down in London. Our support team is about 20 minutes away from me because I couldn't get into our software office today for a COVID-related reason. We're all fine, but it's true, you know, this wasn't an issue yesterday, but it is today. So I think it proves how important when you're planning these events, have that hybrid mindset. And we're certainly getting a lot of inquiries now about how we can help. And I think the one other thing I'd say in the time we've got is we've taken on our Bluetooth tracking product because we were obsessed with how can we help build confidence again. And we've built SafeWatch. It looks a little bit like a famous fitness tracking thing. It's not that. But basically, our Bluetooth tracking product does. So you can see idle time, you can see what stands they're visiting, what sessions they've been to, but also it has contact tracing and it will alert you if you're too close. And we can obviously set the distance as things change. And I think from an organizer's point of view, whether that be a corporate or a commercial event or a consumer event, it just gives the people that confidence that actually, do you know what, there's something extra in place. We're getting inquiries from venues and all sorts to talk to us about this. And I think lots of people now are thinking about how our technology can help. And I think when choosing a platform, it is important to think, you know, to not end up with lots of different layers. You know, everything we build is from ground up, so everything's integrated, everything's that one ecosystem. And I think from our perspective, that's where we've had really positive feedback from customers who have now used multiple platforms, even if they just started as a Zoom situation. And then don't underestimate the time it takes. I think the guys at Story have said already this morning, allow that time. Just because it's virtual doesn't mean it's just going to happen. Have a contingency. So if in one morning you're using one streaming platform and it doesn't work, you've got another one ready to go. And that can happen in all situations. And I think, you know, our expertise is there. You know, come and talk to us, and you know, we can help advise on things like that. And we have partners, and Story has partners that can help with the actual production of it. And moving into live and having hybrid is not a scary thing, because if you think of your live event, you might have your session up on a big TV screen or TV screens around the venues. All we do is we take that same stream from your AV team and we pump it into our platform, so you can expand your audience, especially when you're limited on numbers. So I implore you to have a little look around our platform, ask questions. You can see to the right of the screen, you've got the ask questions here. We've had a couple already. I obviously use the chat if you want to have any comments. But yeah, thanks for involving us, and we're really excited about the vaccine and everything that it will help us all get back together, because us and the Story guys have been talking and great to meet people, and you know, we're humans, and that's what we love. So thanks.
Absolutely.
No,
Absolutely.
definitely. Thank you so much, Oliver. And thank you for being here as our platform today. So it's wonderful. As Oliver mentioned, the platform will be staying open for you once we finish. So have a look around, see, you know, if it's going to work for you in your upcoming events.
Absolutely. So we're about to start our cocktail making. Please make sure that you've got your ingredients. And while you're doing that, let me just remind you once again to send any questions you have for us, and we'll be answering them at the end of the webinar while you're enjoying your martinis, hopefully. Quite close to midday, so it's okay.
I mean, it's time for some fun. I mean, they are espresso martinis. There is coffee involved.
It's like brunch.
So it's a brunch time martini. I'm delighted to welcome Andy Stiles from the cocktail service. Andy's going to give you a short overview of what the team do and offer. And Jamie, one of the team's amazing mixologists, is going to be showing us how to whip up that delicious salted caramel espresso martini. Andy and Jamie, over to you. Take it away.
Hello guys, I assume you can hear me and see me.
Hello,
yes,
we can indeed.
Hello, yeah, thank you for letting us be a part today, and welcome to our HQ here at the moment. So this is one of the bars that we're running the virtual sessions from, which has been a lot of fun over the last few months. So as the guys mentioned, I'm just going to do a quick overview of us as a company, and then I'm not going to be very long. I know you all want to make a cocktail, so I'm going to tag my cocktail. I'm very good at drinking cocktails, but I let the guys make them, so that's kind of how it works here. So we are the cocktail service. So I'm Andy, I'm head of events at the cocktail service. We're a drinks agency, and we've been providing drinks and bar services to live events and hospitality industry since 2009. post 2020, which we all know has not been the best of years. We typically do around 600 events a year, and our clients take us all around the world. So it's been a lot of fun before the COVID hit. Now, one of the services we did provide, apart from the cocktail bars and obviously the actual bars at live events, were cocktail making classes. So we'd actually go to our clients and teach them how to make cocktails. Now, when the UK went into lockdown and obviously live events came to a pause, it was a natural progression to move that from the live world to the digital world. And since April, we've been running hundreds of these classes for people all over the world, which has been quite a lot of fun, really. It's something we're very proud of. Now, clients are using these classes as get-togethers, corporate people entertaining their clients, and obviously during December it's been very, very busy as part of larger Christmas parties. Now, typically one of the cocktail sessions lasts for around an hour, again depending on which package you have, and we do have different packages to fit different budgets and different types of events, which has suited a lot of our clients, really. So as I said, I'm going to tag over to Jamie to teach you how to make the espresso salted caramel espresso martini. This is a really accelerated version. Obviously, it's we have to speed up for the time. And yeah, this is the fun part. Now, if you're not making the drink now, maybe take some notes and make it over the weekend. If you are making it now, please do take a photo, send it to the story guys. And yeah, we'd love to see what you guys are making. So I'm going to hand over to Jamie now, and I will be watching in the background.
Perfect. Thank you, Andy. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
I can see you already and ready to go, so I'll make this quick. We'll get cracking with this. Very quickly, I'll go over the ingredients because I am sometimes aware that not everyone has the fancy stuff that I always have. I make myself look so much better than I actually am. So, shaker-wise, this is really important to make a salted caramel espresso martini. If you don't have it, you can use a protein shaker. I'm sure some of you have one and you've never used it, so let's make a cocktail in it. You can use a jam jar, pasta sauce jar, just make sure you rinse it out, obviously, and Tupperware. You can use pretty much anything to make a cocktail in. As long as it's contained and you can shake it, perfect. Next thing is a little jigger. So I've got a 25 50ml jigger here. If you don't have one of these, you can use a tablespoon, you can use measuring spoons, you can use anything. However, they are only a couple of pounds. I use it for every single drink I make. So if you can get one, fantastic. With the shakers, with the strainers, we've got two types of strainers. I've got a Hawthorne strainer and I've got a T-synth or a little mini strainer. This has two jobs for these. This Hawthorne strainer, which has two little horns on it, this has one job. It stops the ice coming out of my shaker and sits in there. Fantastic. The other type of strainer, this has one simple job of stopping any fine flakes of ice or any bits of fruit going into our martini glass, because we don't want that to dilute our alcohol. Obviously, we want as much punch in there as possible. Ingredients wise, we've obviously got our vodka, we've got some coffee liqueur, we've got some espresso, obviously needed, and my favorite, which unfortunately isn't alcoholic, but I can drink this straight, salted caramel syrup. It is the best thing on earth. If you've got a sweet tooth, stay away from it because you'll be in trouble. Finally, I've got 3 bits of popcorn for our garnish instead of the coffee beans, just to be a little bit different. So let's go on to the reason why I'm actually here and teach you how to make this cocktail, because I know I don't want to bore you to death by talking everything about the ingredients in the shaker. So let's crack on with it. We're going to open up our shaker and we want to pour all the ingredients into our shaker. So I'm going to start off with our salted caramel syrup, and I'm going to do 10 mils of this. So using the 25ml jigger, which is the small side, I only want to fill it up about quarter of the way up. Or if you're using a tablespoon, it's nearly a full tablespoon or a couple of teaspoons, the best way to describe it. It's not much, but it's definitely going to come through there because it's so sweet. Fantastic. The next thing to add is our espresso. This is called our Martini Coffee. It's in a little round bottle. Now we want 50 mils of this because we want a nice big measure of it. So I'm going to use the big side of my jigger, and I'm just going to do 150 ml measure. I go straight in. Fantastic. The next thing I'm going to add is our coffee liqueur. So in this case, I'm using Mr. Black's coffee liqueur, but you can use Kahlua, you can use Timuria. I know you just added the Mr. Black's. I did see it. Don't worry, my eyesight is very good. The only upside of this, there's a positive. You now have to have more than one. It's all good.
Well, we're doing it for all three of us, but I clearly can't read today.
So in that case, if you're going to make two, so you want to do, you've already added the Mr. Blacks, so you've done 50 mils of Mr. Blacks. Do you want to do?
We're doing three.
You're doing three, so I would only do two in one shaker. Otherwise, you won't get that nice creamy head that we want.
That's fine. That's fine. We're all in. And
so
then so
we're all good. We haven't gone off track. We've just made another route down where we're going. It's fine.
Sorry.
If you want to add your espresso in, so you want to do 100 mils of espresso, and the label should say Martini Coffee on it. It will look something like this. I've just realised now I've got my light on, you can't see anything.
Yes, I've got that. I've got that.
So you want to do 100 mils of that. I'm going to catch up with you because obviously you're ahead of me in terms of adding the Kahlua or the coffee. So I'm going to do 25 mils of my Mr. Black's coffee liqueur. You can use Kahlua, like I said. If you're really desperate, you can use Bailey's, which is different because it's an Irish cream, but it gives a nice creamy flavour and texture to it. So far, we'll have our salted caramel syrup. So we've got 10 mils of that for one serve. Or if your story event, and apparently there's 3 of you in there, which, you know, you're making 3 by yourself, it's okay. It's 9 p.m. somewhere. All right.
So like I am making this by myself because I'm doing the order completely.
We're going to drink in a minute, don't worry.
We've got salted caramel syrup. We've got some espresso, we've got some Kahlua or Tia Maria or Mr. Black's coffee liqueur. And finally, I'm going to add our vodka. So I'm using a lovely Chase vodka, and I'm going to do 25 mils of this as well. That goes in. Fantastic. Now that's the easy part. We've got everything in our shaker that we need. The next step is adding our ice into our shaker. Once we've added our ice into our shaker, we're going to make sure that it's secure because we don't want it to explode open. So that's it. The harder to hit, the better. So with your martini shaker, you want to thumb on top just to make sure that little bit on the top doesn't fly off. Otherwise, you're going to be covered in espresso martinis. That's perfect. What we're going to do, we're going to give it a nice hard shake. And I'm going to start with my dominant shoulder, which is my right shoulder. And then I'm going to fully extend my arms and bring them back in. So it will look like this in slow-mo. But obviously, we're bartenders, so it needs to be incredibly quick, because we want a nice creamy frothy head, and that's where it gets its nice foaminess from, is this hard shake. So it should look hopefully something like this.
Getting really cold.
Okay. Now I always ask this question, are your hands very cold?
Really, really cold. Really cold.
It's not good for your hands, but it's good for the cocktail, I promise.
Excellent.
So fantastic. We're shaking our cocktail. Has it changed into a nice, creamy, frothy texture? It can be a bit difficult to open sometimes.
And I mean, I probably shouldn't have been the one to have done this.
So once we've shaken it,
apparently no one's going to have a cocktail today. You might actually need to bring some outside help in.
you might have to, yeah, it's a bit difficult to twist open sometimes and wrap it with.
Shall we all give it a go?
Yeah, Carly.
Some kitchen roll.
We're having some trouble.
Yeah, I think because
the more warm it gets, the
it's
easier
so
it is
cold.
to it. While they're figuring it out, I'll carry on. I'm going to finish off by straining it through my fine strainer into my coupe glass. And I've got a rule of thumb. Serve it in anything you want. If you want to be really fancy, go for a flute. Why not? Spoil yourself. I'm okay with it. Fantastic. Hopefully, you can start to see I've got that really nice creamy texture. So it's very dark at the bottom and it works its way up to that nice white brownish head that we've got. And more importantly, finally, the last thing we've got to do is we've got to do our garnish. Because obviously, cocktail isn't a cocktail unless there's a really nice garnish. So with my 3 bits of popcorn, I'm just going to lay them on top because they're going to sit on there nice and proud. And there, hopefully, will be your salted caramel espresso martini. Cheers, everyone. I'm going to enjoy this.
Delicious.
Yeah, it does. We've had a
Excellent.
complete disaster here because we couldn't open the cocktail and then we did.
I'm going to pass it back to Andy while I finish this off.
So make another one.
Yeah, so Cheers, everyone. Have a lovely day.
Lovely.
Thank
you so
I mean,
much.
that's why Jamie is the professional.
Well, that went really, really well. I have started making another one, which I will continue making while we clean up the floor. It went really well.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much to Andy and Jamie for adding festive joy and flavour. We can smell the flavour and it smells absolutely wonderful.
It's delicious.
So I really hope that the ones that you're drinking at home are wonderful. So,
Right, so shall we go to our
it is
Q&A now?
question time. So I'm going to kick off. We've had a load of questions in, so let's do this one first. So usually, Carly, I'm going to come to you actually.
Yeah.
We usually book our Christmas events in January. Do venues have plans for their theming, etc., for 2021 yet?
So venues definitely have plans for Christmas 2021, and they are definitely in talks with theming. Some obviously have finalized and some haven't. We've been speaking a lot about flexibility. So keeping in mind that things may have to change depending on the situation, but the dates are going to be booked up. I mean, we've seen even just with virtual that people always want the same dates before Christmas, the same times. There are key dates. So even if the sort of nitty gritty haven't been finalized, if you're thinking of a date, get it booked in now, you know, or at least penciled.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
Right.
So Lauren, maybe you could answer this one.
Yeah.
Do you still see all types of live events being able to restart at the same time? Or is it likely to be staggered based on distancing that might impact what's possible?
I think in truth, that is actually quite hard to answer because obviously we have to go based on government guidelines. So, you know, now we can have live sports events, and as we were mentioning earlier, you can have live events. They're based on some really fine details. I think it's going to be staggered personally because there's going to be different guidelines that come up, and obviously as the vaccine, we understand how the vaccine works and stuff. So I personally think it's going to be staggered, really.
Yeah.
And our final question, have any exciting venues opened up or been refurbished during this year? This is definitely one for me.
Yes, I mean, yeah, this whole year we have been keeping tabs on everything, and obviously a lot of refurbishments and planned openings for 2020 have now been pushed back to 2021, but it's just given them more time to perfect everything and make sure that they are ready to go. So I know we're particularly excited about the Nobu Portman Square that's been in the works for a few years now, and has finally opened its doors. So that's going to have an incredibly large event space, a lot of bedrooms, and it kind of brings that sort of refined atmosphere from their hotel in Shoreditch, but on a much bigger scale. So they're going to have a bigger restaurant and everything. So that's definitely one to look forward to. And in terms of even outside of London, we've just had an exciting announcement that the Fairmont Windsor is going to be opening. That is again going to be another huge hotel opening for about 500 or 600 people for a dinner.
Wow.
In Windsor. So it's near Heathrow, and that's going to bring that nice element of getting away from the airport hotels and things, and having kind of lots of countryside and space around you, but still having that space for really large events.
I think that's all we have time for, unfortunately, today. Send us, the questions via email, and we'll try and respond to you that way.
Yes,
absolutely.
Absolutely, that's.
So whether it's virtual, hybrid or live, obviously you can contact us at hello@storyevents.co.uk or hello@venuesearchlondon.com, and one of the team will be in touch, of course. And just to let you know, today's webinar has been recorded, so don't panic if you missed anything. We will be following up with you all soon, and hopefully you had a better time making your cocktails than we did.
We'd also like to say an enormous thank you to all of the teams at Venue IQ, Open Mind, the cocktail service, and of course to Charlotte from Tobacco Dock and Nick from ETC Venues for joining us today.
Yes, so from Carly, Claire, our cocktail on the floor, and I, which does smell amazing. We are so looking forward to continuing working with all of you and seeing what creative and exciting briefs you have for us for 2021. So we'll be back in the new year with some more top tips, hopefully a working cocktail. And until then, have a really wonderful and very safe festive season. Thank you so much for joining us.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.